This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I hope that makes you laugh because I'm a dancer and not a singer. But you know what? And I've got it all together. I'm always joyful no matter what. I'm joyful Jenny, right? I'm not always joyful all the time. My well runs dry too. And so this is just my little joyful invite today to ask you to consider joining me in a Joy No Matter What study, either through some of the video clips that I'm going to share on my YouTube channel, or better yet, for those friends that I'm sending this to, join me on a Wednesday night Zoom because I need a refresher course, and maybe you do too. The joy of the Lord is our strength. You know, joy is part of God's will for us. And so again, if this doesn't come off all clear and all professional, well then better, because I don't have it all together. And I hope I never come across that way. On our post when we write things, and I love to write, and I've done Instagram. I've been off more of the media recently, but when I do that, I've backed off of it some, just trying to be still, listen to the Lord more, and have needed to just spend more time with Him to stir up that joy and the joy of the Lord. But I hope I never come across as like I've got it all together, because none of us have it all together, and I especially don't have it all together. Anyway, this is an invite, and I just want to cover a few things and just talk to you, even though, again, I'm still growing. I need grace and even doing this little video clip, but, I have had a restoration of joy, and I've experienced that, but again, our well runs dry, things happen, and there's always a battle for our joy. Joy is a weapon, just like praise and worship is a weapon, love is a weapon, peace is a weapon, prayer is a weapon. But I want to remind us, the reason I'm doing this today is just to invite you to consider, if you're not in a group, don't join a group with me. I want to talk to you about how important it is to be in community and to be in a group, to join, especially now, and especially when we've come out of this season, we've been more isolated, but we still can connect. But I've got some of my notes here, and I'm going to try to follow them so I stay on course and don't get too long with this video today. But, joy is God's will for you and me. It says in 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18, verse 16, be joyful always. And I've written about this before. Our questions when we go through things that are really hard, sometimes we shouldn't really be asking God why, but how, Lord, or what are you saying to me through this? Or how I began to ask the Lord, how can I be joyful always, Lord? And the study that I've been writing and studying and teaching was birthed out of that. But I want to remind us that community is God's will for you and me. We are better together, and we are more joyful together. We can travel alone. Let's think about that. We can travel alone. We can go to dinner or a movie alone. We can do a lot of things alone. And sometimes, we need to be alone. We need to be alone with God. And some of us sometimes too need to put our phones away and put Facebook away and put those kind of things away and really have some more alone, quiet, be still time with God. Yes. But, and a lot of things are still enjoyable alone, right? But we were created to be in community. I mean, even from the beginning, God made Adam and Eve, and He knew that it was not good for the man to be alone. And we have to think about laughter, etc., things like that. They're really more enjoyable when we do those in community, right? When we do those together. I want you to think about this. The devil isolates to desolate. We grow better together. Iron sharpens iron, right? I even heard this wonderful woman of God the other day say that wine, or the new wine, the wine of the Holy Spirit, that the Lord wants to bring forth from us, is not produced by one grape. It is produced by a cluster of grapes being pressed together. Think about that. So much more. Just that's how that's produced. So not by ourselves. And I want us to think about we are one in the Spirit. Yes, there are different kinds of community. I mean, we share, community involves sharing life with people that we have things in common with, right? But if you are a son or daughter of the Most High God, we need the fellowship of believers. We need to be in community with others who are like-minded with us so that we can laugh, pray, cry, fellowship, and study together and grow better together. We know these verses in Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 10 that two are better than one, because if one falls, then the friend, the other, is there to pick them up and to encourage them and to help them. Hebrews 10:25, and even in the Passion Translation, it reminds us that this is not the time to pull away and neglect meeting together, as some have formed the habit of doing, because we need each other. We do. In fact, we should come together even more frequently, eager to encourage and urge each other onward as we anticipate that day dawning, that day of the Lord's return, right? Acts 2:42-47 reminds us that the early church was devoted to teaching and to fellowship and prayer and sharing together. So, yes, in person and at our homes is better, and that's what I prefer to do. But at least right now, if for those of us that are not still comfortable doing that, and mainly for me, it's like I want to be mask free, and I'm praying, Lord, deliver us from the mask, because I just don't want to worship with a mask on. I would rather not. I would rather study and fellowship without a mask on. So I'm doing this Zooming for Joy No Matter What, Wednesday nights beginning on February 10th. I hope you'll join me. I hope you will join us as we press into Jesus, our joy giver, because through his word, we can stir up that living well within us to an overflowing fountain of joy, no matter what life brings our way. There is more strength in numbers too. So as we remain connected, we grow stronger in together. And so, I just want to pray for you today that the joy of the Lord will be your strength, and that you remember that you are loved, special, chosen, and called. And I pray you are a part of a community of believers in this season.